Here's something I've never said. Let's go pick up that trailer recovery off the freeway down there in Chula Vista, and let's take it over to Arizona. According to this, she should be coming up here on the side of the road any moment. I see a trailer getting that yellow reflection off of that sign, and I do not see a truck in front of it. I like that. That's a best case scenario. You don't have to wait for somebody to get pulled out from like a wrecker. So I'm gonna get off the freeway down here, loop around to it, and get set up. You're a good boy. I'm gonna be right back in there with you. All right, so let's see what we're working with. I just looked over the trailer, got it attached, did a little tug test to it. Tires look good, tandems are where they're supposed to be at, all lights light up. Only thing I forgot to do, this thing's been sitting here on the side of the road, I think for a couple hours. I just wanna be sure it still does have a seal on it. Wanna be sure nobody robbed Amazon while this thing was sitting here on the side of the road. And because I'm taking it across state lines and it's loaded, I know it has to have a seal on there. So gonna get in the truck, start heading to Arizona. One little thing I gotta do, I got here, went through all the screens. It said take a real-time selfie, great, verify trailer ID, verify that everything's good with the trailer, did all that. Guess what never came up? The little BOL screen. They didn't send me a BOL, so I'm just in the process of sending a note to ROC saying like, hey, can you send me a BOL, because last thing I want to do, and one of my fears on this trip is I've heard stories about the Arizona DOT. I don't want to get to that state line and be like, oh, you're deficient in your paperwork. So I'm gonna send them a message, request that BOL be either like sent to me. I don't know if they can send it in the load notes or if they can email it to me, but that's what I'm doing right now. Here's what we're working with tonight. I was somewhere between Alpine and Descanso, leaving San Diego, and all of a sudden I had this check engine light come on, and this little yellow lamp, it's turning on, turning off. This thing start coming on to my, talking about my DEF. Now I went in here to, let's see if I do this again. Menu. There we go. And I come down here to diagnostics. I have two active ones. I've never had these lights come on before. And what this saying is it's saying poor DEF quality, check DEF. And then when I go in there, it gives me that SPN 3364 FMI2. Never a good way, let me turn this camera around this way. Never a good way to start a trip with like 350 miles to go and have these engine codes start coming on. I immediately go over to the internet and type in that SPN 3364 FMI2. My man Cash is King has a possible solution for me. He's got a video specifically on this. I'm not trying to steal his content. I have nothing but admiration for his content. I'll put a link to this video here. He says what the fix is for this is to go in here. So I have a total of 4 bars of DEF. I'm down to 3. It basically means what he was explaining is that the urea concentration may have dropped, and the solution for this is to top it off with fresh DEF and force a regen. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I just pulled over at the Golden Acorn Casino up here in Campo. I got a little trucker center. I'm in an actual truck stop. I mean, turn this thing around. I don't usually come to these very often. I'm in a official truck stop. So I'm gonna head inside here. I'm gonna go see if they sell DEF. I know that when I get down to 3 bars, I think I set that up right. I know I can put at least 5 gallons in there. I'm gonna put 5 gallons, I'll buy whatever kind of DEF they sell. I'm gonna put 5 gallons of fresh DEF in there, force a regen, and fingers crossed this thing works. Last thing I wanna do is reject this load, and the way I see it, the further I drive to Arizona, if I break the truck, that's just that much more expensive of a tow back. So I'm just weighing all this stuff. Kind of upset that this happened, but love that my man Cash is King has a video on this exact same thing. So I'm gonna head inside and go get some DEF. I'll tell you what, when I go on these long trips, I like to wear comfortable shoes. I don't care what you think about me. I was wearing Crocs inside the truck, but because I know truckers like to out other truckers, I switched to my boots to walk through the truck stop. Gonna head in here to the truckers entrance and hope they have some DEF. Well, because it's a casino, they didn't want me filming in there. They had one 2.5 gallon container of DEF. They don't sell DEF out at the pumps. I just paid $35 for 2.5 gallons of DEF. Damn. Let's get back to the truck and see if this trick works. I'm out here putting DEF in the tank. My dog's crying, and it attracted... You hear my Lou, don't you? This is like the lot lizard of dogs. Hi. Maybe Lou will come out and play. Are you nice? Are you nice? All right, moment of truth time. I have never forced a regen when that regen light has not been on. The regen light is not on, but I'm gonna give this thing a shot. Still got the flashing light next to the DEF. All right, moment of truth. If I press and hold this, it says it's regenning. One of the things he pointed out in his videos, he says to stay with the truck because he says that sometimes this will kick off and only do it half. He had to, in his video, he had to do it a total of 3 times. That little flashing thing means it's doing regen. I hope this fixes it. I'm gonna stick with the truck. I still have, so when I left Chula Vista, it said I was gonna arrive 2 hours and 19 minutes early. As long as they don't adjust my arrival time, let's see, arrive by 10:42 Mountain Time. I'm gonna lose an hour, so let's pretend like it's 1:04 right now. I still can absolutely make it, but I'm gonna let this thing do a regen, let you know how this turns out. Halfway through this regen cycle, that little yellow lamp that was turning on and off right there has turned off. So far, 2.5 gallons of DEF, forcing a regen, looks like it's gonna work. All right, this regen is just about over. The RPMs just dropped down from 11. It's exactly like Cash King said. The little light went off, but he said this light right here stayed on for him for about a day. So knowing that this is exactly where he was at, as soon as that regen light turns off, I'm gonna start heading down the road. Just got the bypass at the scales. I think they were closed anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter, but didn't have to stop there. Cash is King's little tip on that regen is working beautifully. I still got the amber light on. It's not the check engine, it's not the stop engine, it's just the amber engine light. Feel a lot better if that would turn off, but hey, seeing somebody else, when I had no idea what to do, seeing somebody else say, hey, this is what you do and this is what's gonna happen, and the fact that that's still happening has me a lot more confident about this. And I got this thing up to 65 miles an hour. I mean, this is, I'm out of California now. Just hit the AZ and we're heading on to Tucson. What you looking for, buddy? Oh, that's what you were letting me know we had to do. All right, see? We'll give him his privacy. Oh, he was letting me know in the truck. He's like, Dad, I gotta get out. I gotta get out. And now that he's gotten out, it's time to feed Lou. All right, Lou, I'm sorry for the choppy camera here. Let's just give you some of that, yes. Yes. There we go. You're making a mess. We made it out here to the Tesla charging station out here in Dateland, Arizona. This is like some futuristic little, I've never really seen one this big, although I don't have an electric car, but this thing is all, I mean, this is like not a single car here, but it's ready to go. Got the Border Patrol. Got the border patrol posted up over there in the bushes. I'll have to look on a map and see how close we are to the border, but anyway, just gonna let Lou do his thing and then keep heading towards Tucson. You spilled somebody. There you go. Even though we just got back from our little walk, he's in there barking at me. Probably best if he doesn't see me. It's just a good time to take a look around, just go around the truck real quick, be sure everything looks all right. Check out these trailer tires. Still got the seal on the back. I'm about 2 hours ahead of schedule, so that's why I'm taking a little break here. Plus, traveling with a dog, I got to get him out and be sure he's taken care of. And last thing I want to check, highly unlikely anybody did, but just I see enough videos of this one. Be sure nobody pulled my pen. Pen's still there. Everything's still connected. Let's get on over to Tucson. Road or frontage road, whatever they're calling this. I got 1.9 miles to go. I'm exhausted. I mean, after I drop this thing off, I'm looking for a place to crash. I'm gonna shut up all the blinds in this thing and I'm gonna sleep in the truck.
You got that at purchase is 476, 476, and
got it. I know what to do. Thank you.
That's all I would do.
You too. And as I crank up the truck, entering in this yard for the first time this whole trip, that amber check engine light is not on. Man, nothing but good things to say about Cash is King. He's gonna hear it from me. I was gonna try to check in outside of the Amazon. They had this wonderful little train yard. I'm a dork with trains, had to get the drone out, started messing around. Arizona DOT is no joke. This guy pulls up in an unmarked car, and at first I noticed him. It was like, that guy's got a uniform on, but an unmarked car, and he's like, I think he's getting ready to go around and like start ticketing people where I parked. Now, in his defense, I parked clearly in front of a no parking sign. I wasn't planning on staying there. I really was just kind of, I didn't tell him this, but I was messing around with the drone, letting Lou go potty. And anyway, he saw Lou, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was just letting my dog get out to use the bathroom, and he saw Lou. He goes, get it out of here. And I was like, all right, yes sir. So my options were the Pilot. I swore this place was called the Tit, but now that I look at it, it's the TTT or the Triple T. So it says it's $15. I gotta go in here and pay for parking. I've seen too many videos of guys getting towed, guys getting booted for not paying for parking. I'm heading on in here to pay for parking, and we are going to sleep during the daytime today. All right, I bought my little parking sticker. They wrote down my information. This is going up in the window. I'm gonna draw the curtains here. I'll have to show you where I am. I've watched enough videos, even though I don't frequent truck stops that often. I've kind of seen, like, you know, you don't want to park on a corner because you're gonna get hit. I realize that I'm just a bobtail. I don't want to take up a full spot. I kind of strategically picked where I'm at. It's back here in the corner, and it's right by a field that my dog may have to use. So anyway, you can be the judge. Let me know how I did. I'm just looking to not be obnoxious to somebody else and take up a regular spot with just a bobtail and try not to get hit while I'm asleep. But let me know in the comments, how'd I do? I can't leave a town that has Waffle House without eating at Waffle House. Got the waffle, got the hash browns smothered, covered in chunk, side of sausage, and some coffee on its way. Just woke up from the little nap. I felt like I slept in a truck, but I got Lou out in the truck here with me. I managed to get my truck into this parking lot. He's out there right there. I don't know if you can see him with the sun, but he's just hanging out in the truck. How it's looking. Before I went to bed, I started looking for like a connecting load going home. Amazon has a ton of loads around Tucson. The problem is they're all going somewhere else. They're all going to like East Coast, Texas, that type of stuff. They have very few going back to where I want to go. I even kind of got out of the Amazon system, started looking at DAT, started seeing, like, you know, like, since I'm in a power-only situation, I found a few companies that have it, but they're trying to offer these as loadout trailers. In other words, you get to use them for a couple of days, but because you get to use them, they're going to pay just an absolute crap rate. I got in touch with a few of them, and I'm like, look, I don't need it as a loadout. I'll have it in San Diego later tonight. They're like, yeah, we don't need that. And they weren't willing to come up on the rate at all. So it was just like, you know, to be responsible for a trailer, to have that, you know, anything that happens to it is going to be on my insurance for an extra $300-400. I mean, some of these places were like $1.25 a mile, and it's like, yeah, no, I'll just bobtail back. Now, you might say that's a terrible business decision, and I agree with you. I mean, bobtailing back just cut that rate. I mean, I got a decent rate coming over here, but it just immediately cuts that rate in half. My ulterior motive with this trip was, you know, because I need interstate authority. Thank you so much. Because I need interstate authority, I'm required to have IFTA. And because I'm required to have IFTA, they make me run at least one interstate trip a year. And it was Q1 of 2024 where I went over and I did that interstate trip, and now we're getting to the end of 2024, and I just want to have that in place. So that's kind of the ulterior motive of this trip. I really didn't care if I got a trip back. I just needed to do this to meet the requirements from IFTA. But the food's showing up. Love me some Waffle House. I'll check in with you when we get back on the road. This is my last stab at it. I looked for loads before I went to bed, looked for them when I got up, looked for them when I was over at Waffle House. My 10-hour reset is complete. I'll just show you what I'm looking at here. It's 5:35 Arizona time. They've got one from Goodyear going to Eastvale. It's not until tomorrow. I'm not gonna hang around here till tomorrow for $1.22. Same thing for $1.58, and then one going to Bloomington tomorrow as well. So it's like, I'm not going to hang around that long. And then it's like, you might say, like, well, get out of the Amazon system. And I agree. If we come over here to like DAT, Tucson going to San Diego, I mean, they've got this is sorted by rate per mile furthest. These are all, I called on these. These are all loadout trailers. They're not willing to really budge much beyond that 127. They might come up a little bit, but it's like, and there was one on here that was, and listen, I'm not knocking this carrier at all. That's the last thing I want to do. I mean, if they'll find somebody to do it for that rate, that's fine. It's just not going to be me. Not going to be me tonight. They had some that actually got pretty close. There was one in Carlsbad. There was one going to actual San Diego. But yeah, Glendale to San Diego. That was the one I was interested in. And it's like, you know, I mean, these are all like, I mean, they're treating them as loadout trailers. So not looking really good. I'm gonna crank this truck up. I'm just waiting for traffic to die down, sitting here with Lou, watching trains go by, waiting for the traffic to die down, and gonna bobtail back to San Diego. 25 hours later, in the same yard I started from on a round trip to Tucson. I mean, as a guy who does this local stuff, I'm not gonna lie, this has been a haul for me. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home and go to bed. I understand, I totally get it. Bobtailing back from Tucson is it's a bad business decision. Fortunately, I don't do it all the time, but you know, this trip had another purpose as far as, you know, staying compliant with that interstate trip, keeping, you know, staying in the good graces of those IFTA people. So there was more at play here than just the trip. Glad to get that done, and one less thing to worry about. And, you know, I'll break down the numbers. If you're one of those people who you're looking at, you know, starting a trucking business, you're in the planning phase, kind of like how I was, and you really want to see like the data, I'll break down the numbers at the end. Keep in mind, not all these miles are, you know, there's a big difference in like fuel consumption on the truck as far as like taking a loaded trailer over there versus just bobtailing back. So if you kind of want to see like the difference in those two, hang around to the end. I'll break down all the numbers for you and show you like the fuel consumption of driving the same road, one, you know, bobtail versus loaded trailer. And then last but not least, I had to go on to Cash is King and leave a proper comment for him. Just nothing but gratitude for him putting that video out there. I mean, what are the chances that I had that, you know, by Googling that same error code, his video came up, walked me through it. Something I didn't know how to fix on my own, and it got me back on the road, back rolling. I mean, you know, when I saw that come up at first, it's like, okay, I'm going to have to turn in the load. And, you know, that's one of the things that I love about YouTube. It's like, you know, I don't have a ton of experience with these trucks. Seeing that thing come up, I didn't know what to do. I'm one of these people who grew up without the internet, and it mesmerizes me sometimes that, you know, you can look for something on the internet and find a video talking about the exact situation you're in. And so I just wanted to say thank you to him. Want to leave him a proper comment. But as always, I hope this video serves you well. Appreciate you taking the trip with me. Take care.